What's up, guys, and welcome to AGIT Codeworks. Today, welcome to my channel, and today we are continuing our tutorial on web application development using PHP and MySQL. And today we are going to be looking at a very important topic in PHP, and also a topic that would exist in any other programming language you would encounter: the if-else statement. The if-else statement. That's what we'll be looking at today. Now, first of all, what is the if-else statement? I will first of all give a little explanation, then give you a definition. So the if-else statement is basically how the computer makes a decision. You might say, okay, that sounds like a human being. Now, does the computer make a decision? I'll give you an example. Let's say you are logging into an application on your banking app. You put in your account number and then you put in a PIN. One out of two things would happen. Either the account number and the PIN is correct, which leads to you being logged into the account platform or banking app, or it's wrong and you get a message, invalid password. Now, what happened there was something called a conditional statement. And conditional statements are implemented using what we call the if-else statement. The if-else statement. Now, it doesn't just end with things like a login page. Things even more complex IT infrastructures, like let's say a self-opening door, also takes in data, makes a decision based on that data. Now you might say, okay, what data does a self-opening door take? For example, there are sensors on these doors that fetches the proximity. Okay, it gets the proximity between the person approaching the door and the sensor, and based on that distance, a function is called, or a method is called, that makes the door open. That's me trying to explain a complex technology in very simple terms, but that's actually how it works. Or a self-driven car, a lot of decision making happens. Or whether you can even talk about the robot performing brain surgery, whatever a computer does, a complex sequence of algorithm, if and else's and conditions, enables them to take decisions. Now let me give you a definition. What's an if-else statement? Now, an if-else statement is a conditional statement that is executed based on whether a condition is true or false. Okay, it's an expression executed by a computer based on whether a condition is true or false. It's called the if-else statement. All right, very soon we'll look at the code. When we look at the code that implements if-else statements, it's going to be clear-cut, simple, and straightforward. All right, let's look at the syntax. By syntax here, I'm talking about rules for executing a particular algorithm or a particular statement. So now the way it works is I get my if, then a condition, this condition. If this condition returns true, this first statement is executed. While if this condition returns false, the second statement here is executed. We'll go through it again. There's an if statement here. This is what the code will write will look like. If this condition entered here is true, this statement here is executed. Else, if it's not true, this statement here is executed. And please take note of the opening and closing of the curly braces. This curly brace that opened here simply means it encapsulates or it surrounds this statement. Okay, this statement which is executed when this condition is true. Okay, but if this condition is false, this will be executed. Let's take into account something like a login page. If my username and my password is correct, that means the condition here returns true. So this statement is executed, which means log into the page, give the user an access. Else, if it's wrong, this will be the command or statement that would give an instruction to show me a message saying invalid login credentials. All right, let's do this. Let's write the code for this. So here's my notepad++. I have a file called if statement here. Okay, so simple example. Let's go through the code very quickly. It's a straightforward code. So first of all, for a condition to be tested, you need a variable. So we have, for example, an age variable which contains, for example, 12. So now I want to check if this guy is an adult or not, and the condition for being an adult is you have to be over 18 years. So a simple statement could say if. Okay, remember that syntax I showed you guys. If this condition is true, execute this. Okay, so if what is true, the condition is if age is greater or equal to 18. Okay, this is the greater or equal to sign. If you leave it like this, it will be just greater. That's also a valid comparison operator. So if age is greater or equal to 18, what should we do? Let us display echo you are an adult. Else, now the else statement must follow the if. It must follow the closing curly brace after the condition. So else, this code here would be executed, and what would be executed here would be you are not yet an adult. Now this might seem pretty basic, you know, it might seem pretty basic. I might be wondering, how is this an algorithm that could perform a lot of tasks in an actual web application? Now remember, in my last tutorial I told you guys we are going to look at a tutorial on how we can build a page where the user can remember the device, where the user can check a checkbox and say remember this device. Remember I talked about that. We'll do that after this particular tutorial. I chose to run the conditional statement or if statement before that tutorial because you would need if statements to complete the said code. Alright, so what happens here is very simple. If age is greater than or equal to 18, this is executed, or else this is executed. Simple logic. Take note of this. Alright, let's run the code. Let me copy full file path to clipboard. Alrighty then. Okay, so I run the PHP code on my server, localhost. Alright, so we see you are not an adult yet. Why? Because the data imputed says age is 12. So the computer chooses to execute this. PHP will execute this or this, depending on this condition here. Okay, let's say take a second scenario where this is, let's say this becomes 22. Of course it's over 18, so it's an adult. Therefore when we load the page we get you are an adult. So that's a simple if statement. It's actually an integral part of a lot of applications. So take note of that, write this code, succeed with it, and then I'll be seeing you in the next tutorial. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to my channel. Do have a wonderful rest of the day.